Good morning, traders, and welcome to Trading Wave Market Weekly Outlook. So we will be looking at the market. How did they perform last week, and how did we forecast them, and what is expected going forward? Right, so guys, please take note. Victor is not available. I'm going to be your host for this week Market Weekly Outlook. Right, so before I go any further, we've still got our special. Today is going to be the last day, our special. If you still do wish to join us, you can do so by purchasing our full course and an advanced one-on-one. One of those are on the 30% special, and a lifetime plan. You can inquire about the 50% discount on the lifetime plan. All right, so if you do wish to contact us, you can just go on our Facebook, on our YouTube page there. Our YouTube page is Trading Waves. If you go to any of our weekly outlook, you will find our contact details there. Right, so you'll find our contact details here on below on our weekly YouTube videos there. So what you're seeing on the screen is our email address. If you do have any inquiries regarding our services, please do email us there. Even though we prefer that you inbox us on the website, we've got this. Even though we prefer that you inbox us directly on the website, we've got this chat box that is available down there. You can use that here. Right at the bottom here, you can use that to inbox us. That's where you're going to get a quicker response. But again, you can email us there. You can also follow us again on our social media platforms. That will be on our Telegram channel, our TradingView channel, Twitter, and also on Facebook as well. And you can also WhatsApp us there on our number there, on that WhatsApp number there, and also available on Telegram as well. Right, so watch out for the timestamps that are loaded a few hours after we've done our weekly outlook. Not everybody is interested in going through all the pairs, so you can just go and click any of those, and then you will get an update on that instrument. All right, so without wasting any time, let's see how did we focus the market on the previous week, and what do we expect going forward. I'm going to show you some magic that we have on gold that is all about understanding the market cycles and the sequence, which will help you to pinpoint the entries on in the market as a whole. So we're going to start with the pound New Zealand. So pound New Zealand, our forecasts have always been for pound New Zealand to make this move to the upside. I'm just showing you a latest update we had. The previous week, we've been showing you here that we've been focusing that this was already coming to an end here, and this was eventually going to make that move. Obviously, not that far, but we've been expecting this year to be a 3 waves pullback. And now let's see, how did pound New Zealand play out after that. So if you are in the market, you'll see that you will definitely know that pound New Zealand has made a move to the upside, here. So it has made about 421 pips. That is as much as we are in the corrective structure here. Of the corrective structures, we do trade our wave C and also our wave Y. Okay, so we're expecting that this one's going to push all the way up here, and you've seen that this has already moved 421 pips. That is a very big move there. So that's what we've been able to give this to our members. Now let's have a look at the next one here. That will be Audi Chief. So Audi Chiefs, the forecast was for this one to drop from right exactly at this area. We're looking at this one to be a move to a downside, and this will be a 3 waves corrective structure, and expecting to see this one to be trading to a downside there. Now let's have a look at how did Audi Chief play out after. You've seen this one on the chart, that Audi Chief, it has already made about 261 pips drop to the downside, and the forecast is that we are still looking at this one to continue with the bearish move to a downside. Even here, we had this one to be a 3-wave move right into a blue box area here, and this has already made this move. But from exactly here, when we pinpointed the area, this made 261 pips, and we are still expecting that this should continue drop almost a similar move that is expected here on Audi Chief. So you can go and look out for a trade there, but just because we've got this focus, guys, please do not just go there and immediately sell this. We've got a special indicator that will tell us when the trades are ready and then we start to make our entries there. So be careful with that. You would want to see a little bit of a pullback somewhere around this area here before you can even consider to short or achieve to the downside. But that's what we will be expecting going forward. All right, so let's have a look at the next one. That will be pound chief. Pound chief, we're expecting this one to drop. I'm just showing you now a chart where this has already started to make a drop here. Okay, there was a chart that I'm gonna, unfortunately, I don't have the chart to share there, but the pound chief, we're expecting that this was going to drop all the way down here. And let's see, how did pound chief play out? Something very interesting that I'm going to share when we are going on a live market analysis on a pound chief. You might find yourself getting a nice trade there. So pound chief, it has made the move from around this area here, and it dropped almost about 300 pips before it made this pullback here. The chart that I should have shown you was this one. When pound chief was here, we said to the members, expect that this was going to drop, because we understood what was happening around this area. Structurally, we were looking at this here, and we knew that this was going to definitely make a drop there, and just made that 375 pips to the downside. So what I want to do in the market analysis when we start with pound, when we do the pound chief. Pound US dollar, you might have seen this one last week here. This has been the forecast that we're expecting pound US dollar inch perfect to complete these 3 waves corrective structure here and make a drop. So pound US dollar, how did it play out after that? Pound US dollar has dropped over 800 pips. This has moved over 890 pips, and we are still expecting that this should continue with the bearish move to a downside. The pinpointed inch perfect that we're expecting this to drop from here. This was a blue box trade setup here, and this has moved the 890 pips, and we are still expecting that this is going to give us a little bit of a push to the upside, but we're still going to be expecting that this should continue with the drop to a downside. So every time it gives you a 3-7-11 swing, just look for the selling opportunities there on pound US dollar. I'm not going to cover much. I'm sure you've seen how we've been looking at euro US dollar and the other pairs. I'm not going to be covering those, but you can refer on our previous videos. The recent one was US dollar JPY. We said that this was going to give us this 3-way pullback here. It was going to come on the other side of the channel before we see this one to be making a move to the upside. Now let's have a look. How did US dollar JPY play out after that? We've simply got a nice 423 pips, just this move alone, which took place last week. If you can refer on the previous week analysis, we said this was going to drop. This was a corrective structure here, and this was going to make a move to the upside. 420 pips, 423 pips, easy money there on US dollar JPY, and we are still expecting that it should continue with the move to the upside. Now I am going to show you gold. Our members, they get these charts, guys, updated before each session open. Especially we do have our updates during the London Open, where we do the 1-hour charts, and also during the New York Open we do our 1-hour charts. So our members do get these moves before they take place. I'm definitely sure that you guys remember this one. You can refer to the week previously, when my colleague was showing you what is expected on gold. He went deep in this year. We were around this area here, said expect that this was going to come exactly here at this price here and drop. So this is exactly what happened with the gold. It went there, and let's see what happened after that. It has dropped over, this is over 7, almost about 900 pips it has dropped, but this chart here, it has dropped 733 pips. And what we expected from here, this was an update that was done to our members. We said gold was not done with this move to a downside here. We still expected it that it was going to drop. So the next slide here, that's when we did an update there on gold. I should have shown you the one when gold was around this area here. We said expect that gold is still going to drop to the downside, because we understand the cycle and the sequence, and our special indicator was telling us that we should expect that gold is going to continue to a downside. It dropped to the downside, and when we were around this area here, because we understood what was happening, we said to our members, now expect that gold is going to give us these 3 waves pullback here. Now let's see how is gold playing out so far. Right, so you see that gold has made exactly as pinpointed this move to the upside here. So from this low here, exactly when we said expect that gold is going to make a move to the upside, because we understood this here, it has made this is a very significant move to the upside here. This is over 300 pips, just this leg alone here. Now, going forward, you will see that it is going accordingly to our roadmap here. We expected this was going to drop from exactly here, and it pinpointed this area here exactly and started to drop. The chart before this one was this one here on gold. This was what we were expecting, that this was going to go around 1920 here. And if you look at the next one here, this is a 1920 here. If you look at the next one here, gold pinpointed exactly the 1920 area, and from there it started to make this drop as forecasted. This was a forecast, 1920, a drop, and then a move to the upside here. And the nice thing that if you look at these this drop here, it's not coming down in passivity. This is just a 3 waves corrective structure here. So what we expect going forward on gold is this one to give us this last leg here. Then from around this 1940 area, you can start to look for the bearish move to the downside there on gold. So that's how the market has played out on the previous week, inch perfect, and our members will be able to get some of these pips here. Now let's get down to the market analysis and see what we expect going forward. So as usual, we are going to be starting with the US dollar pairs, starting with the pound US dollar this time around. So pound US dollar, you've seen this one during our trade recaps. We are still expecting that this should continue with the bearish move to the downside here. Ever since from these highs here, we've been looking for this to drop. So we are still expecting the pound US dollar is going to drop from here. But like I've said, that you don't have to go and sell immediately. This has moved over almost 900 pips. So you don't want to sell when the market has moved that much in terms of pips. So we're going to be looking for this one to give us a 3-wave pullback here. And from there, we're going to be expecting to see this one to be dropping one more time before we can expect that bigger correction and the continuation move to the downside. So the indicator is going to tell us when the corrective structure is already done, and then we are going to look to make an entry there. Euro US dollar, from the highs there, we've been seeing and how have we been able to focus this year. It has moved almost 800 pips here, and from the last update that you saw on our videos was when we were around this area here. This has moved over 500 pips, and we are still expecting that Euro US dollar should continue with that drop to the downside. Just to be specific on this one, we are looking at this one here to complete the 5-wave move down. This should be our wave 1, our wave 2. We're expecting to see a 3 and a 4 and a wave 5 before we can expect to see this bigger correction and a continuation move to our downside. So for now, short term on a Euro US dollar, expected to drop, but from the current levels, we need to be mindful because we might be seeing this one to be giving us this here before we make this leg to the downside here. US dollar CAD, we've seen this one, how not US dollar CAD, rather US dollar chief. Obviously, it will be inversely correlated to the Euro US dollar. If we do expecting that the Euro US dollar should drop, then we should also be expecting to see some bit of a move to the upside here before we can even expect to see a pullback. But eventually, we are going to be seeing US dollar chief to be continuing with the move to the upside. With the correlation with the DXY, which is positively correlated, DXY keep on pumping to the upside, so we should see US dollar chief to be making move to the upside there. Our US dollar here, to my colleague have been talking about this one to drop all the way down here. So structurally, we are looking at this one to have been an expanding flat corrective structure here. This to have been a 3-wave move to the upside, move down here, and this to have been a 3-wave move. This is a structure that we are looking at here. So we're going to be looking for this move to the downside here. We're going to be looking for that similar move here. But again, please do not just go and sell this one here. At some point, somewhere around this area, there's an import, there's a very special level that our members or those ones that have previously taken a course, they know that somewhere around this area here, we are going to be expecting to see a pullback before we see a move to a downside. When is that going to come? That is where the help of the indicator is going to tell us, combined with the market cycle and the sequence here. So we are going to be expecting that this is going to drop, but like I've said it, somewhere around this area here, we are going to be seeing a 3-wave pullback before we can see a continuation move to our downside on our US dollar. It will be the same as well with the New Zealand US dollar, because the two pairs are positively correlated. We are seeing this one to have dropped all the way down here. Now we are expecting to see this one to be continuing with a drop But do not just sell this here. You will see this has completed a three-wave moves to a downside here. So I am going to be expecting to see this one to be a three-wave move pullback. Expected this to be around 56.1.8 fib retracement before we see a continuation move to the downside on US dollar, on New Zealand US dollar there. US dollar CAD should have shown you this one. We've seen how we've been able to take it right from the blue box. We have been looking at this one to be in a three-wave move, inch perfect into the blue box, and it has made this rally here. The last time I checked, this has moved over 280 to 300 pips, and we are still expecting that this should continue with the move to the upside. It would make sense this continue with the move to the upside here because of the correlation that we have on the US dollar pairs. We're expecting US dollar, Euro US dollar to drop, so US dollar CAD will be expected to make a move to the upside. Be this move here be related to this one here, three-wave move up and impulsively move up here, three-wave move to a downside. This is going to make a move to the upside there. Yeah, yes, it can react at the equal levels of this here, but I still like the idea that this is going to continue all the way up. Just to be specific, what I'm looking at here is this to being our wave one here, this to have been our wave two, and this to have been our wave one in a lower degree. This being our wave one here, this to have been a three-wave pretty structure, our wave two. So I'm going to be expecting to see a 3 and a 4 and a wave 5 here before we can even consider this one to pull back. This will be completing our wave 3 in the yellow intermediate, in the yellow degree here in terms of our color. So do not try to short US dollar CAD. It will keep on pumping to the upside. At least that's what we're advising our members in our group. We do have some live trading room that we have every day at 8 a.m. GMT. We get to interact with our members and we look at the market, what is expected on that day. Like I said, it's every day, 5 days a week. We have those sessions where we interact with our members. All right, so DXY, obviously, it will be expected that we are looking at this one to keep on pumping to the upside. Yeah, we've been showing you this here for quite some time that we are looking at this one to have been wave one here, this to have been our wave two. We're still looking at this here to be our wave three. Somewhere around this area here, we'll be expecting that the DXY is going to give us this here and move to the upside. Yeah, somebody could be saying the internal waves, we're looking at this to be our wave one, our wave two here, and this to have been our wave three and a 4 here, and this to be the last leg, our wave 5 here, before we can even expect to see this one to be pulling back. So that's why I keep on saying that US dollar chief, US dollar CAD is going to keep on pumping to the upside, and US dollar JPY because they are positively correlated to the DXY. 3 ways pullback somewhere around this area here. You should look at that as a move to the upside. Here to be specific, we're looking at this one to be our wave 1, our wave 2, this to be our wave 3. So meaning that the cycle and the sequence is still not complete to the upside. We're going to be looking at this one to be a 3-way pullback against this swing low and expect this one to make a move to the upside there on that DXY. Now let's look at the yen pairs, US dollar JPY. I've shown you this one here that we are looking at this here to have been our wave 4 here, just the internal waves here. We're looking at this one to have been our wave 1 from these lows here, wave 2, this to be now wave 3, 3-way pullback as our wave 4. We're looking at this here to be the last leg to the upside to be our wave 5. So against this swing low here, if you're seeing this one to be a 3-way pullback, still look for that bullish move to the upside on a US dollar JPY. But you've got to be careful. The yen pairs have been pumping all the way up here. So somewhere around this area here, we'll see some pullback. So it's a matter of when is this pullback coming. If you can refer to our videos from last year, from these lows here, we've been looking at US dollar JPY to make a move to the upside. Not even a single time where we expected that this was ready to drop. So we are still looking at this one to continue a little bit of a push to the upside, but eventually this is going to start to give us a drop. Only the time will tell, or our indicator is going to tell us when the drop to the downside is already there on pound yen. Now let's look at pound yen here. Pound yen, we've got this one to have been an impulsively move. If you remember very well, we've been looking at this last leg here from this low here. If you remember very well, we've been looking at this here to have been our running flat here. This to have been our wave 4, and we're looking for this one to complete the 5th wave to the upside. Yeah, so we were expecting this to come around 170, but it did not reach our initial target that we're looking for here. Now we've had this one to have been an impulsive move, which has dropped in a 5-wave move. So this should be telling us that we need to be careful. The trend to the upside might be down in the pound here, and it might be time for a move to a downside here. But that move to a downside is not just going to come easily. We've got this one to be move to an upside. We must see this one to be dropping in a 3-wave move, a leg to the upside here again here before we see this one to be dropping. But we definitely should get a move that is going to be related to this one here. It's a matter of how is this path going to take place around this area here, because it can drop from here. If the indicator is telling that this is ready, we're going to be looking at this here to drop. It might have been a sharp 3-wave corrective structure here, and this is ready for a drop, or like I've said, that this might have been a 3-wave move up here. Get this one to be a 3-wave move. To a move up, one more leg up here against this swing high, and then we see this one to be falling back again to the downside. But look for the pound yen to continue with the drop to the downside there. Euro yen. Euro yen, we've been talking about this one for quite some time on a daily time frame. We've been looking at this structurally for this to come around this area here. This is what we've been looking at on Euro yen. This should be a 3-wave moves here. I was expecting that this was going to come with the equal legs. This has not reached the equal legs, and this might mean that be careful. This might not be ready to drop. It might be just be a correction for this move here. And to be specific, we're looking at this one to be a 3-wave move to the upside, to a pullback here, impulsively move up. So the sequence is telling us that we should be expecting one more leg. What we might be having here is this here to be a 3-wave pullback that is going to be related to this one here. This should be a 3-wave move up here, and then this one, this move here to be in this one, this correction here to be this one here. So we're going to be expecting that eventually when this is done, we are going to see this one to be give us this one more leg, come around 145 area before we can see Euro JPY to be dropping to the down side. Now back to the 4-hour time frame. Like I've said that this might have completed the 5-wave move to the upside, so we might be looking at this one to be a 3-wave pullback against this swing low here. This might be an A here, our wave B, this to be our wave C. Then we're going to be expecting a move here. We're looking at this one to be our wave A here, this to be our wave B. So we're going to be looking at this here to be our wave C. Once that is done, then we're going to be expecting that Euro yen might start to drop. A mixture of signals there on the yen pair, so please be careful with them. Across the board, they've made a very big move to the upside, so we're going to be expecting that they're going to start to drop. CHF yen should have shown you this one, how our members have been able to get it right from this here. We're looking at this one to be a 3-wave move, and we're looking at this one to make this move to the upside here. 260 pips move it made to the upside. Now it is correcting here, so we are still looking at this one to give us this one more leg to the upside here against this swing low here. Obviously, this being our wave 4 here, we have it. We're looking at this to be our wave 1 and wave 2. We're going to be looking for a 3 and 4 and a wave 5 that will be completing the cycle of a bigger degree. Then from there, we're going to be expecting that this is going to start to drop to the down side. Again, like I've said it, that against this swing low here, we are looking at this one to make a move to the upside. If it breaks this low here, then it's going to be a different story. But we are looking at this here to be our wave 1 here, and this to be a 3-wave move pullback against this swing low. So we're going to be looking for that leg to the upside on CHF yen. Break of this low here will be meaning that this is ready to make a move to that down side. So be careful there with CHF yen. CAD JPY, again here, we are looking at this one to have already ended the move to the upside. Let me just show you there on a daily time frame because it's more clear there. On a daily time frame, if you remember very well, we've been looking at this one. We've shown this one a couple of times on a daily time frame. This would have been 1, 2 here, wave 3. This would have been wave 4 here. Across the board, the yen pairs made this running flat here. So we're looking at this here to be the last 5 wave moves here. And internally, if you look at this here, this being our wave 1, our wave 2, our wave 3 here, sharp wave 4, because our wave 2 took a long time to play out there, and this would have been our wave 5 there. So this might have ended the bigger cycle here. It might be time for that bigger correction to the down side. So against this swing high here, I'm going to be looking at here CAD JPY to make a move to the down side there. But again, if it breaks this high here, then it's going to be a different story. That will mean we are going to see this one to be a one more leg to the upside here. But if you look at this here, it has been a 5-wave move coming to a downside here. This being a 5-wave move here. Now, this has been a very sharp move to the upside here. So what could happen here is that if this isn't an impulsively move here, we are going to see this one to be dropping in a 3-wave move against this swing low, preferable, and then we are going to see this one to be making a move to the upside before we see this here. That will mean that this is going to give us this one more leg before it makes the actual drop to a downside. But I still like the idea of CAD JPY to drop from where it is all the way down. So that will mean if you're seeing this one to be giving us a flag around here, then we can look for this one to drop all the way down, or you can look for an Elliott there on CAD JPY. All right, so New Zealand yen and Audi JPY, they are not showing sign that it is already done with the move to the upside. Structurally, we'll be looking at this here to have been a 3-wave move flat quality structure here and expanding one here. This one we've been looking for here. We are looking at this one to continue with this leg to the upside. This should have been our wave 1 here, our wave 2, 3 here. So we're looking at this one to be our wave 4, and we're going to be looking for that last leg to the upside on New Zealand yen. So you can look for the buying opportunities there. Audi JPY will be the same here. We're looking at this one to have been a nice expanding flat quality structure here. So we're going to be looking at this one to continue with the bullish move here. 3-wave move down, to move up here, impulsively coming down, this being an ABC there, this being an ABC. So completing our wave 4 here. So we're going to be looking at this one to make a move to the upside. You can look out for buying opportunities on those 2 yen pairs. All right, so Euro Audi, we are still looking at this one to give us at least one more leg to the upside. Structurally, what we are looking at is this here to be an expanding flat here. This being a 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up, 3-wave moves up here, 3-wave move down here. So we're going to be looking at this one to at least come and take this high. And then from there, we're going to be looking for that bearish move to a downside. So for now, at least expect a little bit of a push to the upside. And from there, we're going to be looking at Euro Audi to drop all the way down. Same thing applies with the Euro New Zealand. We are expecting that this is going to give us this one more leg up here, but structurally, we're looking at this one to have been a 3-wave move to the upside here, 3-wave move down, and this to be a 3-wave move here, or to be impulsively coming up around this area, at least somewhere around 166 area to 167, then we're going to be expecting this to drop. And just to be specific, why we're expecting this one to drop, this has made this impulsively move to a downside here. So we are looking, whatever is playing out now, this to be a corrective structure. So against this swing high, we're looking at this here to be a corrective structure here, at least to come around the area of 50 to 61.8 fib retracement of this whole range here. So we're going to be expecting that this will eventually make a drop to the downside. EUR/CAD just made a nice bounce that we've been expecting here for quite some time. We're looking at this, that it was eventually going to make this bounce here. You can refer the previous week. We were looking at this here. Structurally, this to have been a structure here, and we expected this drop. Now, this has been starting to make a bounce here. Preferable, I would like to see this one to at least continue with the rise, at least to come and break these highs. And breaking these highs here will be almost confirming that this is going to be ready to make this big move to the upside. We are expecting about 2,000 to 3,000 pips to the upside on EUR/CAD, but obviously it's not going to go in a straight line, but we are expecting to see a big move to the upside on EUR/CAD. So like I've said it, you don't have to rush it just because I'm talking about those numbers in terms of pips. Just wait for this one here to break above this high here. And repeat again, let this break above here. There's something that is very important about this V that you are seeing here. Break above this, pull back, then you can look to hold on to the trade for a move to the upside on EUR/CAD. So EuroChief, we've shown you this one as a trade setup. Last week, we've shown you that we were looking at this one to pump to the upside. This took the 3-wave move right into the blue box, and you've shown this one to be making a move to the upside. So we are looking at this one to be a 3-wave move against this swing low. We're expecting that this is going to be a 3 and a 4 and a wave 5. This being our wave 1, our wave 2. We're expecting to see a 3 and a 4 and a wave 5. Against this swing low here, a bigger degree, we call that EuroChief has already done, and it's time for that big move to the upside. But a break of this low here is going to be a different story. that will mean this was just three wave moves here, and this is going to drop. But I still like the idea that this should continue, like I've said it, against this swing low. I think I'm being very specific there when I'm giving you those invalidation level, but it's very important to know when to invalidate a direction there. Euro pound, we'll be looking at this one to make a move to the upside, there, at least one more leg up. Looking at this one to be a three-wave move to the upside, three-wave move to the downside here. So we're going to be expecting to see this one to be a three-wave move here. Already, if you look at this here, look at the five-wave moves here. So we could be having this one to pull back here. This should be our wave A here, wave B against this window here. You see one more leg, then it should be completing these three legs here. Three-wave move up, three-wave move down, three-wave move up. Then from there, you're going to be expecting that this is going to make a move to the upside. But again, you need to be very careful because of the correlation that we have. If we are expecting that pound US dollar is going to drop, then euro pound might as well make a move to the upside. That is based on the correlation, but technically we are expecting the structure on the euro pound. Pound Audi, this will be this will be expected. You saw pound using how we expected it because of the correlation. We were expecting the same here. This should be a move to the upside, and this should be an expanding flat quality structure here. This is exactly the forecast that we have in the memo that we expected that this was going to make a move to the upside here. And just to be specific, why that we've got this one to be a three-wave move to the upside here. An expanding flat quality structure is our correction here. So we're going to be looking for this one to be a three-wave moves here. There's something that must happen around this area. Our members, they should know that this is going to be one of those trades that will be guaranteed. If you see this one to be pulling back somewhere around this area here, it will be almost guaranteed that we are going to get this one to be go around the 182 area, which is a very significant amount of pips. Just this leg alone, I think this was almost about 500 pips. So we are still going to be expecting to see at least 300 more pips to the upside here before it makes the actual drop to a downside. We will be trading it against the trend, but that's because our members will know what is expected around this area here, and then we're going to be looking for that leg to the upside there. Don't forget again, we still do have our special. It's just running out today. Here, if you have not been able to join us, you might want to take advantage with that special that we have. Pound New Zealand, you've seen this one during the trade recaps. We are looking at this one here to give us this one more leg. We've been looking at this one to be a move to the upside, three waves here, expanding flat quality structure here. So we're going to be looking for this one to be through a move here before we can get the actual move to the downside. The actual move that you're looking for, or the bigger trade, is for the move to a downside there. Pound CAD. Should have shown you this one, but you can refer. I think we do have the previous week. We do have a view on a pound CAD that we expected it to complete the cycle here, and we wanted to see this one to be bouncing around this area here. It has made the bounce that we're looking for, but it's a matter of whether it is this enough. That it is going to take pound CAD to the upside. The move to the upside on the pound CAD, we're expecting about 2,000 to 3,000 pips to the upside there. So we will be looking at if the more it makes this move to the upside, come and take this higher, then you must know that pound CAD will be more than ready that you can look to take it to the upper side. Our pound shift, like I've said it, that if you do pay close attention on this one here, you might find yourself getting this trade here. Three-wave move pullback against this swing higher, then we're going to be looking for this one to be a bearish move to a downside. Let me be more specific. Like I've said it, that I'm going to try and explain this here as much as I can. So we've had this one here to have been a three-wave move to the downside here. The three-wave move I'm referring to here, and this will be a three-wave move to a downside here. This is the structure that we've been looking at here. Now, if you look at the internal waves, we've got this one to have been a three-wave move to a downside. So this is telling us that this is not done based on this here. We've got this one to be a leg to a downside here. Mind you, this is a five-wave moves here. So we are going to be looking at this last leg here. This last leg being related to this one here. So if you do get this one here, again, this has been our chart of the week from last week. I think we've been here. It played out each perfectly, it dropped. Now, that drop, I'm telling you, it's not done with the pound chief. We are still going to be seeing this one to at least drop, come around the area of 118.50 specifically. Then from there, we're going to be looking for that bullish move to the upside there. Now, again, this is going to be provided that the price does not break this swing high here. If it breaks this swing high here, then we're going to have to forget about the 1850 I'm referring to. That will mean this will be ready. But look at this here, 5-wave move to the downside. This will be a 3-wave moves here. Get this one around the 51.8 of this range. Then you can look for this one to drop one more leg to the downside on pound chief. All right, so the cross pairs out in New Zealand, we are looking at this one to give us this one more leg drop to the downside against this swing high here. I would still love to see this one to be dropping to the downside for this structure here. This should be an impulsively move. I would like to see this one to be giving us this 3-wave, this move to a downside. If it does that there, then you can look for this one to continue with the bullish move to the upside. You've seen this one from our previous forecast that from these lows here, we've been expecting or we've been talking about out in New Zealand to continue with the bullish move here, and that is exactly what has been happening. 3-wave pullback here. We're still going to be expecting that this out in New Zealand should continue with the bullish move to the upside then. Out in CAD, as much as this we are looking at this one to make a move to the upside, but structurally, if you look at this here, okay, if you look at this here, you could, let me just use a yellow one here. This one is much visible. We could be having this one here as an expanding flat corrective structure here, and this is ready to make a move to a downside here. So if you do get this one to get a 3-wave pullback against around this area here against this swing high, then we can look for a continuation move to a downside there on the CAD. So New Zealand CAD will be the same as well. We are seeing this one to continue with a bearish move to a downside. So a 3-wave pullback, then we should be looking at this one to continue with the bullish move, with a bearish move to a downside. A 3-wave move against this swing high here, then we should be expecting that this is going to continue with the move to a downside. It's been making this move to a downside, and we could be having this one structurally, that this is a structure here, 3-wave move to a downside, and this to be our running flat here, corrective structure. So we could be expecting to see a move that is going to be equivalent to this one here. If you remember very well, I've just talked about this here. These two have been a 3-wave moves here, so we could be having this one to be a move, a 3-wave move to a downside. This to be our running flat corrective structure there in the middle. That would be a simple WXY corrective structure here. So meaning that if you look at this here, this is almost going to be completing 5-wave move. Then we are going to be seeing this one to be bouncing before we see a continuation move to that down side. Let's look at our chief. We've seen this one during the trade recaps here that we've been. This has been playing out inch perfect, and the expectation is for this one to still drop to the downside here. This has been the focus from here to drop, and we made this one here again. This has been into the blue box here, so we expect that this is still going to drop. It is dropping very correctively. Since it's doing so, then you need to be careful. This might just be a move to a downside, 3-wave move to a downside here. This could be our connector here. We can still see this one to be a 3-wave move here and have this one to be a W, our X here, our wave Y, and you start to see this one to be making a move to a downside, to the upside. But you don't have to worry about that upside. For now, focus on this bearish focus that we have on our chief. It will be the same as well with the New Zealand chief. This one is coming down very correctively here. If you've been able to see our forecast here, we've been looking at this one to be an impulsively move, 5-wave move to the downside, 3-wave move up, meaning this being our wave A here, our wave B here. So we are expecting this is going to drop all the way down here. But again, because of this, the price action around this area, this is very correctively here coming down. We could be having a leading diagonal, but I do not want to speculate that for now. But what you need to be careful of is this here structure. We could be having this one to be a 3-wave move down here, 3-wave move up. This could be the 3-wave move that is related to this one here. And you must start to see this one to be making a move to the upside. But like I've said again, you could be having a leading diagonal there. So if it's not clear, then you just leave it for now. This is very moving motively or very correctively around this area here. Right, so CAD chief, we'll be looking at this one to make a move to the upside here. We're looking at this to be our wave 1 here, just to be specific. This will be our wave 1, 5-wave move up, our wave 2 here. And then internally, we are looking at this here to be our wave 1, our wave 2, a 3 here, our wave 4. So we could be on our way to complete this wave 5 here. That would be completing this wave 3. This being our wave 1, our wave 2 here. So we're going to be looking for this one to continue move to the upside for our wave 3 before we can see this one to be making a wave 4 and a wave 5. But for now, expect that CHF is going to continue making a move to the upside there. Let's take a look at gold. I've shown you gold, what is happening with gold. Or before that, let me look at US dollar ZAR. US dollar ZAR, this is very making a move to the upside. We've seen US dollar CAD to be making a move to the upside, so we should expect that US dollar ZAR is going to do the same because the DXY is making a move to the upside. And with the US dollar CAD, if you've been able to take note of this, every time when we have a US dollar CAD to be making a move to the upside, we're going to be expecting the same with US dollar ZAR. But obviously, it won't just go in a straight line. We could be having this one to give us a 3-wave pullback here. This should be our wave 1, our wave 2. This could be our wave 3 here. It might be time for this 3-wave pullback here, but eventually we should go back to around 1660 on US dollar ZAR to 17 rand. Or so we don't want to exaggerate this year, but we should be able to take 1660 to 1680 around the 17 area there on a US dollar ZAR. All right, so gold, simply straightforward. What we are looking at this one is to pull back from around this area here. We look at this one to have completed the 5-wave move here to the downside. This should be our wave A. I'm being very specific here. If you do take note and you familiar the Elliott wave, you will know what to expect in a minute. We're going to be looking for this one to be a 3-wave pullback, 50% retracement of this whole range here. Then we can look for the bearish move to continuation to a downside on gold. Right, so let's have a look at silver. The two pairs are positively correlated. Now, you're going to be careful with gold because silver has broken this low here. Now, we could be having this as a wave 1, our wave 2, a wave 3 here. This should be our wave 4 is a running flat, and this is our wave 5. So I am going to be expecting that this would eventually give us this 3-wave pullback before it continues with the bearish move to the downside. But if it drops from here, then be careful with gold. That 3-wave move that we're looking for might not play out, but it has been playing out inch perfect. I would expect it to play out. But obviously, if it drops and takes these lows here on gold, then that will mean gold is following exactly what silver is doing. The two pairs are positively correlated. So platinum, we've been talking about this one here for quite some time. This should be a 3-wave move to a downside we look at this one to be a 3-wave move to a downside. This to have been our running flat corrective structure here. So we're going to be expecting to see this one to be a 3-wave move. We've got this one to be a 3-wave move that is internally looking at this here to be 1 wave. So we could be having this one to be at least pull back 50% of this whole range here before we see this one to be continuing with the drop there on platinum. But expect it to still continue with the bearish move to the downside there. A little bit of a push to the upside and then a drop. That push to the upside will be against this swing high here. We really want to see this one to be going as far as around this area. Then I'm going to be expecting that this is going to continue with a drop to the downside. All right, so UK oil, we are looking at this one to drop here on the UK oil. We might be in this here very sideways here on Brent crude oil. We can be having this one here. So I'm going to look at this one here for now. It won't fit, but I'm looking at this here to make a move to the upside here. So we could be having this one to be a move to a downside here. 3-way move down here, a move to a downside. This should be a move here. So we can have this one to drop all the way down here, or alternatively, we could be having this one to give us this one more leg and have this one structurally, and then a drop to a downside before we see this one in the red degree to make this move to the upside here. But again, that will mean we're still expecting that this is going to eventually make this drop here on Brent crude oil. So that we could be very sideways here, but upon completing the structure, that will mean we're going to be expecting to see the resumption move to the upside. But for now, I'm not worried about that big move to the upside. I'm just worried to see what is happening around this area here. We've seen this one to be reacting the 3 waves, equal legs here. So we could be having this one short term. We could be having this as a move to the upside on a Brent crude oil just to come and check these heights here. And from there, you're going to be expecting to see this one to be dropping to the downside. Right, let's look at the indices. Nasdaq, expecting this one to still continue the drop to a downside. We'll be looking at this one. My colleague has been talking about this drop here for quite some time. He's been looking at this here to be a 5-wave move to a downside here. It doesn't match. I'm looking at this one to be a 3-wave move. This to have been a structure here. This being our flat corrective structure here. This being our W here. Wave X. So we are going to be expecting this one to drop, but obviously it's not just going to drop here. Somewhere around this area, expect to see this one to be a 3-wave pullback and then a drop to a downside. Then it will be competing wave wide there. From there, you can expect this one to make a move to the upside. These are almost guaranteed trade setup that I'm showing here. We are going to see this one to be reacting around this area here. If it does react to move pullback, then it will be almost guaranteed that we are going to see that one to be making that move to the down side. 3-wave move to a downside here that we're seeing on Dow Jones. And we are looking at this one to be a 3-wave move here. So we are going to be seeing this one to be making a move to a downside. Come somewhere around this area here, we're seeing a pullback here, and then a drop. That will be a W here, a wave X. This to complete our wave Y there. Then from there, we can expect that this is going to continue with the bullish move to the upside. S&P 500 will be the same as well. I should have shown you these forecasts on the website there. Let me see if I can quickly get this one. Yeah. So this is our website works there. So these are all the instruments that we are looking at here. But 43 of them that are listed, even though we do look at the ones that are not listed here. Now let's go to the other indices. We're looking for S&P 500. So if you open an instrument, any of the instruments, then this is what you are going to get here. You will see that we've got the pre-market, which is normally the London Open here, New York Open here, our 4-hour review, our daily and our weekly. This is what you get there. So this is exactly what we've been looking at on S&P 500. We want to open this chart here. We've been looking at this one to have dropped through a move to a downside, being our W here, and this to be our wave X here. Now it has made this drop. This was expected. We're looking at this one to be a 3-wave moves here. These 3-wave moves here are these internal wave that we have here. So we're going to be expected eventually. It's going to give us this 3-wave pullback, which is this one here. Then from there, when it drops here, this is going to be the drop that will be expected. It's very important to understand this. Somebody could be saying, I'm going to sell this here, not knowing that somewhere around this area here, we are expecting to see a pullback before we see a continuation move to the down side. That's what our members get there. DAX here, DAX might have done with the move to the downside here. This might be the start of a bullish move to the upside here, or at least one more leg from here. We can see this one to be one more leg here against this swing low here. Then we're going to be looking at this one to continue with the bullish move there. So it's either this corrective structure is already done here. If it's done, meaning the price won't come to this low here, but like I've said, it possible one more leg here, then we can see this one to be making a move to the upside there on DAX. Nifty, a little bit of a drop to the downside here after we've seen this one to have been a 3-wave moves here. This is similar to what is happening with Nikkei. You will see when we go to Nikkei. So we've got this one to have completed the 3-wave moves here, impulsively move up, impulsively move to a drop here, and we are seeing this one to be correct. I would expect this one to give us this one more leg here against this swing low here before we can expect this one to be making a move to the upside. It will be the same as well with Nikkei, like I've said it. Nikkei has made this one to be an impulsively move after completing the wave 4 that we've been discussing here. We're looking at this one, this to be a drop here, and we've got this one. So we're going to be looking at this one against this swing low here, at least to drop, come around this area here before we can look for a move to the upside there on Nikkei. And lastly, of the indices, we're going to be looking at UK 100. So UK 100, this looks like it is already done. Even though I would have loved to see this one to give us a deeper correction, but this looks like this is the whole 3-wave move that we're looking for here, and this might be ready to make a move to the upside. But do not be surprised if this one drops from here. This being our W here, wave X here, and this should be our wave Y. This is what I prefer to see, or what I would love to see there on UK 100 before it makes a move to the upside. All right, guys, from my side, that's all what I had to show you. If you guys do like what we do, you can just give us a thumbs up there on our YouTube page. We do value your comments, you can just write us there any comments. We do value your inputs. Cheers, everybody, and trade safe ahead of next week. So watch out for the cryptocurrencies market outlook shortly after this. Cheers and have a good one. Bye.